Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Yoga Studio. And you can see Sleuth there clearly has been doing a lot of yoga. He's looking much healthier for it. Taking a selfie, I guess, inside the studio. There's a few people that are still practicing various poses. Not sure why that individual in purple is doing it backwards though. Perhaps to show off the class. Somehow Sleuth is not with the class. How to actually do this particular pose. What am I going to say about this particular puzzle before we get into it? When I saw the title, Yoga Studio, it reminded me of a friend of ours back in China who essentially had her own studio, used to invite friends over regularly, and she was exceptionally good at this. And here I am just checking if the rules... Anyhow, how about I just bring up the grid? You guys can actually take a look, and I'll walk you through the rule sets, because they actually just kind of surprised me. So, I was expecting German whispers when I saw the green lines, and she was German, but it isn't German whispers. You can see that it is covered in fog. Quite unusual for a yoga studio. Maybe it's hot yoga, for example, and there's tons of steam everywhere. Who knows? Rules-wise, we got from Yoga Studio by fractalminding the following set of rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column. I'm really struggling with my computer's performance right now for some reason. Every column, every 3x3 box. There we go. Now, each orthogonally adjacent digits are not consecutive. We saw recently in another puzzle from Full Deck and Missing a Few Cards just how powerful they can be. So essentially, if this cell was a 2, none of these orthogonally adjacent cells could be consecutive, so 1 or 3 couldn't be in any of these cells. We also have digits along a green thermometer are strictly increasing from the bulb end. Thermometers must contain only even digits or only odd digits. Length of each thermometer is 4. Very explicit about that each thermometer is 4. I guess that must make sense in some shape or form. So what is that all saying? It's saying that this thermometer, for example, is 1, 2, 3, 4 cells wrong. Despite the fact that it's disappearing into the fog, we'll get onto that variant in a second, we know that it is exactly 4 cells, as is this one. That's another one. Now, the bulb end is essentially where the head is. That's kind of the larger circle at the end. So just as in real thermometers, let's assume this is an even one. You have to increase from the bulb end. So that would be, for example, a valid set of pencil marks on this particular thermometer. If it was an odd thermometer, what I could do is something like 1, 3, 5, and 9. Can I do better? Yes, I can. 7. That would be also fine. I don't necessarily have to have them consecutive according to the rule sets. What I couldn't do is have them decrease from the bulb end. It has to be strictly increasing. And it can only be entirely made up of even digits or entirely made up of odd digits. Okay. Last rule. Part of the grid is covered with fog. As correct digits are placed, the fog will clear from the cell surrounding the correct digit, revealing additional clues. So if this cell was indeed a 2, all of the surrounding cells that are covered in fog will be revealed, and that will hopefully allow us to make a bit more progress. Feels like a bit of a clumsy introduction, but we got there. So, if you want to join Sleuth in the yoga studio, you probably should. It is quite healthy. Link will be in the description down below for you to play this puzzle. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock, see how I get on. Right, so we know that this is the bulb end for these 2 thermometers that are essentially visible or partially visible. Because we've got 3 cells here. That's essentially like a circle, a bulb. Same here, so that we can actually have 4 cell thermometers. Now, I'm just sort of thinking this. Yeah, so remember the fact that they have to have odds or evens, not a mixture of both. And in the visible part here, so okay, So one of these is even because it's 3 cells, probably predisposing it to an answer. And this one has to be the opposite parity. We don't know what the other parity is, but it has to be the opposite one. I think I already know which one it is. The reason I'm saying that is, of course, there is only 5 odd digits and there's only 4 odd digits, sorry, even digits. If I can see 3 of them, regardless of which one is odd or even, I know I'm not going to see 6 of them. So these two have to have different parities. Now, the thing is about the 4-cell thermometer is it has to be explicitly, because there's only 4 digits and it is 4 cells long. If it is even, it has to be exactly 2, 4, 6, and 8. Now, the reason that's interesting is essentially, whichever one is even, I should be able to see the digits 4 and 6. So 2, 4, 6 in this particular case, or 2, 4, 6, and 8 in this particular case. So the 4 and 6 are always seen, eliminating the possibility of this being 4 or 6. So if that's even, that would be 2, 4, 6, 8, and now I've broken the puzzle. So this is definitely odd. And the odd ones always have to go 1, 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, 7, 9, I believe, because there is a degree of freedom in here. I could start it at 3, but I can't start it at 1. I can always skip an odd digit, but the maximum is still 9. Now, the fact that this is 5 or 7 is probably helping us with this one. Let me just think about this for a second. So if I assume that the purple thermometer is odd for a second, that would be essentially the exact same set of pencil marks. 1, 3, 5. Let me just remove all of that, clean the slate a bit. This is 3, 5, 5, 7, and 7, 9. 5, 7. So that would have to be a 3. That would have to be a 9. That, and then the 5 or 7 would be whichever. I was actually thinking it was going to give me a break-in, but it didn't. Let's see what happens if the other one is odd. That's not what I meant to do. 1, 3, 3, 5, 5, 7. So essentially these two would be 5, 7. This would have to be a 3, and this would have to be a 1. Interesting. So this is definitely one of these is a 3. That's not enough for any digits, actually. This is 1, 2, 3. This is 1, 2, or 3. If that's 3, here we go, then I've eliminated 3 from both options. That couldn't have been 3. So, sorry, excuse me. In my example earlier, if that thermometer was odd, there's essentially a 5, 7 pair. Forcing this to be a 5, I made that mistake. So that would have been a 3. No, it could be a 1. Yeah, 5, 7. Yeah, that would be a 3. So the 3 is restricted between these two cells. Right. So I am correct. So this can't be a 3. This could be 1 or 2 only. Forget this one. Now, the reason I'm saying this can't be a 3 is it eliminates both 3s in box 5. So this is again 1 or 2. If it's 3, that can't be 3, and this has to be larger. It's strictly increasing, and then I've broken the puzzle with no 3s. So this is again 1 or 2. This is not, I'm not getting anywhere. And we know that they're different parities. I should remember that again, that this is purple. So purple 1, 2 is not in any of these cells. It's not these two. That's the purple 1, 2. That gives me a 1, 2 pair now in box 5. This is meant to be a 1-star difficulty rating, and I'm kind of thinking, huh? That is bizarre. Okay. So one of these two cells is 9. In fact, they're an 8, 9 pair. Essentially, 8 can only ever occur at the end of an even thermometer. So if purple is even, that would be an 8. If purple is odd, well, that would be even, so that would be 2, 4, 6. And then where does 9 go? Would be here. So this is an 8, 9 pair. 1, 2 pair, 8, 9 pair. Still no digits. One of these is a 3, we knew that. Kind of half tempted to give this one more go of trying to test the assumptions. So 1, 3, 5 or 7. And then 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. So this is either 4 and 6 or 4 and 6 or 3 or 3. So this is a 3, 4 pair, and this is 5, 6, 7 with a definite 6 in between them. And it gives me a triple of 5, 6, 7. How am I not solving this? I still haven't got any digits, like none. That's 5, that's 3, that's 1. That could still be 7 or 9. If that's 7, this is a 5, 6 pair. This is still an 8, 9. Interesting. And this is 1, sorry, it's 2, 4, 6, or 8. If it happens, I mean, it would be 7 or 9. This is not helpful. Remember, this is a green 8, 9. And this green 8, 9, well, it's none of these cells. It's not purple. It's clearly different from this one. Kind of half tempted to say it's got to be this one, but I'm not sure, actually. Doesn't have to be. Can't have consecutive. I forgot a rule. So whichever one is a 4 eliminates the 5 that's next to it. Whoops. Therefore, that is the only place for a 5, which is a 3, which is a 1. I was really thinking I'm struggling to see how this is going to work. And that's why. Just let's see, 3 4s and 8 9s. Are they? This doesn't feel like a 1 star though. I don't know who voted this as such. Sorry about the tough puzzle for Monday morning. Right, so this thermometer is clearly these 4 cells. That's the head here. Doesn't allow me to tell which one of these it is. The fact that I have a 3 and a 5 in here. So this, right, let's try this. 1 3 3 5 5 7 7 9. I can actually make this odd. Oddly enough, essentially that would be a 7. That would be a 9. That would be 3 or 5. That would be 1 or 3. Actually, no, it isn't. 7 and 9. Right. So this is definitely even. This is 2, 4, 6, 8, and that would allow me to actually conclude finally what this is. This is 8, 6, 4, 2, 2, 1, and 7, 3, and this has to be a 9 now. Lovely. Green, in this case now we know is odd. Purple we know is even. Still odd. I don't know if I'm going to keep coloring, by the way. I'm just doing it out of habit. Right. This can be even. Could be 8, 6. No, it can't. Because that would have to be the 4 digit, which is a conflict. So this is definitely odd. This is 7 or 9. This is 5 or 7. It isn't. It's a 7. That's a 9. This is 3 or 5, and both seem to work. And this is 1 or 3. Both seem to work. This is odd again. So 3 is none of these. Oh, right. So whenever it comes, I guess, to consecutive rule sets, remember, odds don't really interact with one another. They can't be consecutive. Evens really don't interact with one another. They can't be consecutive. It's really when it comes to odds and evens that this is interesting. So 5 is not here. 5 is in one of these two cells. Then I need a 1, which can't be next to the 2. That's the 1. And this is 5 or 7 or 9. Well, it's not a 7. That's a 5-9 pair. That's the 7. The 9 can't be next to the 8. Right, I'm waking up now. I'm starting to get it. Right. So we have 2, 4, and 7, all of which can be next to the 9. We have 5, 8, and 9, and all of which can be next to the 3. And we have 1, 6, and 8. And the only one that can be next to the 7 is the 1. No, because it's not an 8. Excuse me. 1, 6. Excuse me. 1, 6, and 3. That can't be a 6. Okay, we clearly need to think about the parity of this one. The fact that I have all 4 cells in the same box, and there's a 2 already, I know that this is all odd. I don't know which side is the bulb though, although chances are it's kind of that side, given the 7 and 9. Yeah, the last digit of these 4 cells thermometers are always 7 or 9s. And this can't be either. It can't be 7 or 9, and that's the end of this 4-cell thermometer, so it has to be the beginning. That's the 7 or 9. This is 5 or 7. This is 3 or 5, and this is 1 or 3. And it's not a 3, that's a 1. This cell is not 4 or 6 or 2. I can put an 8, and I think I've got all odd digits, including a 3-5 pair, which will give me a 7 and a 9, and this has to be an 8, because it has to be an even digit. I'm done with all of the odd digits, and it couldn't be 2, 4, or 6. Right, where can 6 go? So I need to place another 3, 5, 6, and 4. And I'm not really seeing the pressure here. 6 can't be here. Yeah, there's not a lot of pressure. There has to be some, though. 4 can't be next to 3 or 5. So 4 has to be in one of these two cells. This can't be 3, so this could be 5 or 6. Both of which would work. If that's 6, that would have to be a 3, though, and this would be a 4-5 pair, which is fine. That means there's another 5, 6 in here, plus 8 and 4. This is not the 8. The 8 would be up here. 4 can't be next to the 3, 5, but could be any of these cells. And then the 5, 6 seemingly could be next to any of these cells. I say 5, 6, but given this can be a 5, I can actually get away with placing it. I can't place a 6 here. It has to be in here. So this is 4, 8, 6. That's not 4. That's not 8. That is 1, 3, or 5. It's not a 5. This is 1 or 3. That's the only place for a 5. That gives me a 3. Doesn't help me here. And this is 4, 5, or 6. Not 5. It's 4, 6. And that 7 gives me a direction. That's 4. That's 6. That's 5. Lovely. A lot of work to get this far. And the thing is, I'm not seeing a lot of thermometers, so we're kind of on our own. 1's not in any of these cells, not next to the 2. That's the only place for a 1. It doesn't reveal anything in this box, so we're going to have to sort of go fish, I guess. Look elsewhere for more clues, although I don't think I'm going to see many more. 9 is one of these 2 cells, one of these 3 cells. That's not the 9. and then Sudoku. So 9 is in here, and both seem to work. Especially the fact that none of these are 8, and none of these are 8. Yeah. That 1 gave me a 3 and a 1 if I paid attention. No influence, no influence. Dear oh dear, we're going to do a whole bunch of pencil marking today, apparently. No 2s in any of here. No 2s. Still plenty of places for 2s. I'm missing something. No 6. No 6. No 6. 6 is in one of 2 cells. No 6. No 6. 6 is in too many places. I need more digits. But I don't see how I can actually place any of them without just 5 in here. It gave me an 8, which still left with a 4-6 pair. 8 is none of these cells, not these cells, not next to the 7. 8 is in one of these 2. 8 now are none of these corners, not next to the 9. These 2 cells are 8. That's not an 8. That's the 8. 8 is in here. It's one of these 2. That's not a 9. Yep, still too many options. Can I resolve these? No. So I think I've done all I can with 1s, haven't I? 1 is in here, 1 is in there. 1s are done for now. 2s, well, we know they're not next to the 1s. Not very useful. In here, not next to the 1. Still could be in 3 places, which is annoying. Not in any of these cells, not in this cell. 2 is in here. Right, I should be able to resolve this, I hope. Yep, that's a 2. That's a 9. That will give me a 9 in one of these 2 cells. 6 is still allowed next to both of them. 2 is not here. 2 is not there. 2 is one of 3 cells in here. 3, none of these are 3. Can't be next to the 2. It's one of these 2 cells, which means it's in one of these 3 cells in here. Not this one, because of the 3. Again, not a lot going on. 4s can't be here between the 2 3s. So very nearly. But both of these still work. What about up here? No, still too many places. 5s surely. No. Sixes we looked at already quite a bit. 7s. That can't be a 7 next to it. So it's 7 is in here. 7s, 7s, 7s. It's one of these 2 cells. It's not next to the 8. That's a 7. That's a 3. That doesn't help me eliminate a 2. Or an 8 or a 9. Or a 6. Surely it helps with 6. No 6. No. No 6. 6. 6. Therefore that's 4, 7, 3, 5. 9 and 4, I'm going to say. That's the 4, that's the 9, because the 4 couldn't be next to the 3. 2, 8, and 5. That can't be 5 or 8. That's a 2. 5 can't be next to the 6. That's the 5. That's the 8. Right. I'm hoping we've done enough now that it will actually get a bit easier. We're at the 20-minute mark, we haven't actually made I mean, we've made decent progress, but when you compare it to some of the 2-star difficulty rated puzzles that we've essentially had solved by now over the weekend. So this is definitely tricky. This is 248. Can't be a 4 or 8, that's a 2. This is 4 or 8. These 3 cells now are 3, 7, 3, 5, 7. Not a 3 next to the 2. The rest are not resolved. Right, so essentially, it seems like the way we're going to make progress here is focus on this column, column 7, try and find which cells, which options, essentially, are not allowed where they are, and it could be because of pairs or it could be because of consecutive rule sets. So, like I said, I kind of don't think this is an easy puzzle. 2, 7, 2, 5, 7, not a 5 next to the 4. And this is not 1, 2, it could be 3, it's not 4, 5, it could be 6 or 9. Can't be a 9 next to the 8. So, we apparently have enough information. No. Seriously? Oh yeah, of course. 5, 8, 9, triple, can't have the 8 or 9 in the middle because it would be surrounded by 8 or 9. So the 5 has to be in the middle, that has to be an 8, that has to be a 9. Don't have the same thing with the 2, 4, 7 or the 1, 3, 6 or the 3, 5, 7. What is the rest of this one? 2, 7 and yeah, unrelated. These are 1, 4, 8, unrelated. 3, 6 and 9 also unrelated. This is ridiculous. Not 9, that's a 9. Has that 9 helped me? No, I'm done with the 9s, but surely the 8 has helped. Not really. The 5 has helped. Okay. Oh yeah, it has 2, 7 pair. That's the only place for a 5 in here. That means this is the only place for 5 down there. Can't be a 7 next to the 8. Can't be a 4 next to the 5. Can't be a 6 next to the 5. That's a 1, 3 pair. That's a 6. 1, 6. It really hasn't gotten easier, has it? 4, 8 pair. Oh, 3, 6. 3, 6, 7, 3. We have a 4, 8 pair. Therefore, that's a 2. That's a 4. That's a 7. That's a 2. 7, 1. 4 or 8 can't have a 4 next to the 5. That's 8. That's 4. That's the 1. That's the 3. That's the 8. And if I've not made any mistakes, that's the 4 for the finish. I would say this was advanced yoga, not beginner yoga. This is not a 1-star difficulty yoga based on what I've just had to do. Now, to be fair, I know I'm awful at scanning, but the break-in was tough. Every step required like a constant look for Sudoku and consecutive rules, and identifying triples like the 5, 8, 9 to make progress. This is a much harder puzzle than 1-star. I hope that you guys got on okay with it for a Monday morning. Looking forward to reading your comments about it. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle at least, and see you back for the next one. Bye bye for now.